to Two Guys Talking with Marcus and Kris. I thought you were going to interject. Well, no, it's a different setup, so I wasn't sure how it was going to work.
It is.
Because this week we have Steph.
Hello.
Hello.
You are the official third host of the podcast. We have, we've had a guest on before. We've tried a 3-mic setup, but that was just the practice. Now we can have a proper, 3-way conversation. Mostly it's so that I've got time to have a beer whilst you guys are chatting.
You said that last time as well.
Yeah, well, it's true.
But also it gives us different points of view, different kind of topics to talk about, because I'm sure you get bored listening to us ramble on for an hour every week.
So I thought we'd have a third person to ramble on, mix it up a little bit.
Makes a little change.
Yeah. So how are you, Steph?
Yeah, how you doing?
I am good. I am good. I have just been working all day, which is not the most exciting thing. I've been doing manual labour in my kitchen, painting the ceiling.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, nice and, well, it needed to be done, so it's being done.
Laborious.
I'm
Very
good.
good.
Wish I could do something like that in here, to be fair.
Well, I mean, I don't know, it's rent. Why? I don't know, it's fine. It's just white, walls. Yeah. Well, you needed it doing, so why? What was wrong with it?
The kitchen needed to be completely gutted, which it has been, and it's been redone. As in, literally nothing. So whoever lived there before us basically did the worst job in the world at building a kitchen. Sorry if you're listening. So we had to completely redo everything, and then it is being done. But then ceiling was plastered, and we've got to paint over it, and it's still not finished, but we'll get there. It's been 2 weeks without any kind of kitchen, which is actually really difficult.
What's it like not having a kitchen for 2 weeks?
It's not good. I cook quite a lot, so I need a kitchen. But it's not even just that, it's the fact that we had to move everything out. So our lounge now is basically just shit. It's just, there's just all of the kitchen stuff, like the fridge, all of the appliances is just in the lounge, which is not that big. On top of all the stuff we have in the lounge anyway, boxes that had all our plates so it's not just that the kitchen's been done and that's taken a while. It's that I can't even, I sit in the lounge to do work when I'm not in work, and Ollie's in the office. So I literally I'm sat on a couch, I've got the dog next to me, but then I'm just surrounded by kitchen and furniture, which is
a jumble sale situation going on.
Curious to know, have you got the fridge running in there as well?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. So it's like a proper. You're getting a glimpse of what living in a studio flat is like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The world's smallest studio flat, maybe.
Oh no, you'll pay money for a tiny studio flat. I remember seeing a video on Facebook a while ago, and it was in London, so you know what it's going to be like, right? But the biggest selling point was it is the world's. It's like the smallest flat in, well, let's just say the UK. I don't know about the world. And it was cool because you had all the furniture folded away, the bed folded away. Everything had at least 3 purposes, but. And for all that privilege and smart design, you're paying millions.
Yeah.
But it's still a tiny ass apartment in not best area in London. So it's what the hell?
Have you seen the ones in Hong Kong and stuff? They have cage apartments. So you just get a cage and a bed. There's 3 other people living there with you, and that's it. It's the tiny ass room.
I've seen ones that resemble a mausoleum. It's literally where they store bodies.
Like a crypt.
Yes. Yeah, that's the kind of situation. In fact, wasn't there an episode of, I want to say Futurama, where they had that kind of a setup?
Maybe.
I don't know.
Is that when the dog gets taken to old prison or something?
And they've just got that big shelf that's just everyone has their body in there.
But imagine a situation where in the future, you have that, but then your head's in a virtual reality kind of thing, and that'd be really
That's
weird.
too Black Mirror for me.
Yeah.
I was going to say Matrix.
Yeah. I've still not seen The Matrix.
You've not seen The Matrix?
I've not seen a lot of things.
To be fair,
I've not seen what's inside the fridge for a week. I was saying this to Kris before, right? I had some chicken in there that I bought last Sunday whilst recording the podcast. We were doing, I had some lasagna bubbling away in the background, and I've not been in the fridge since then. When it's Sunday today, we're recording this, and
you bought 2 lots of food for meal prep.
Yeah, man.
And you just ate that one meal every night for the entire week, and then you fucked off all weekend.
Yeah, in your car.
Yeah, in my car.
Honestly,
crash it this time.
I'm taking liberties with this car. Did we speak about it on the podcast last week?
We maybe touched it a bit, but I'd say you've well and done taking the piss this week. Literally, he
170 miles, just doing all kinds of errors.
Yeah.
The first chance that I got.
You set off on Friday.
Yeah.
Didn't come back until Saturday morning. You were here for like 10 minutes and you fucked off again.
Yeah.
And you got back here at like 6 p.m. Like, I'm back.
Yeah.
And I took your key because mine doesn't work.
Yeah, I only came back here because the key doesn't work. So on Friday, it was our mum's belated birthday meal. So our family's not very small. There was 4 of us at the table. It was her birthday a few weeks ago, but now obviously pubs and restaurants are opening. It's great. So what I did was I planned to drive to my mum's house, pick her up, pick my grandma up, and then we'll go to the restaurant. And she says, oh, park it in front of my car because then it won't block the road as much. Okay, great. So I do that, turn the engine off, go inside the house, come back 5 minutes later, put the key in, the car doesn't start. And it's like, right, well, I've blocked you in now, so we are literally fucked here. What we're going to do, table's in like 30 minutes and we can't just go late because, you know, COVID, like everything's booked into time slots. So it's like, shit. So I've already called the Uber. The Uber's on its way. And we're walking over to my grandma's house, which is just down the road. And I'm on the phone to my mate. And I'm like, mate, car's fucked. Don't know what to do. The key just won't turn the engine. It'll turn the engine over, but it won't ignite. It won't start, right? I'm just like, what the fuck? So I will leave the key on the side of the road somewhere. Here's a video of me doing that so that you know where it is. You deal with it. I'm going to go and have this lovely meal with my family that I've not seen him for like 4 months, right? I'm going to go and do that. Can you help? And he's like, all right. So anyway, I'm having this meal and I get a Snapchat from my mate and he's literally with his girlfriend. He walks over to the car, sits in it, and it starts first time. And he's like, idiot. Like, what the fuck? Like putting on a voice and just being like, because he can't understand what the hell is wrong with me. The car just, and then I think it was Saturday morning, I tried to get in the car again and it wouldn't start. But then I waited 15 minutes and then it did start.
Now the weird thing is, when you got back, I was like, right, let's go. Took the key, 1, 2, 3, 4, every time starting.
Yeah.
Turn the key over, 1, 2, 3, 4, no problems.
Yeah. It's just me.
Yeah, it is just you.
It's just me. I don't know, man. I don't know. But I mean, it was a lovely meal. I don't know if you guys have like been to any like pubs or anything this week. Obviously, things have just opened.
I've managed to do 2 pubs.
Oh, really?
Met up with Burks on Saturday. He was in the lawn club.
Okay.
He was just like, yeah, I'm coming from a haircut. I'm like, all right, I'll meet up with you. Just let me know when you've had your trim. Completely forgot to message me, so I chased him up. It's like, oh yeah, we're just in the lawn club. Come meet us. Just come stand here.
Yeah.
Chatted to him for a bit. I was like, yeah, just go tell the bouncer you've already got a table.
Nice.
Straight in, had a couple of drinks. We were talking pretty solid for like an hour.
Did it feel weird being in a pub again?
Not really.
No.
It felt kind of normal.
Was it quite busy or was
it? It was packed. There was like an hour wait and there was only 2 people in the line.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, well,
people don't want to leave, do they?
No.
Well, this meal was in like just like in the outskirts of Greater Manchester, so it wasn't quite as busy. Still a lot of people there.
I mean, you say that, but like the pubs on my road, or just off my road, so I live just off a main road. There's like 3 pubs on that road that have small outdoor areas, and they were all Monday to Friday, even in the middle of the day, absolutely rammed. Like, yeah, I don't think it matters. I think people just wanted to go out.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
Well, a mate of mine, his theory is, the first week of pubs opening is all the fuckers who don't really care about COVID that much. Just going out, getting leathered and so on. I was driving around at around 10:15 in the evening on Friday, and the amount of people I saw hobbling about on the street was hilarious. Like, as if it was 4 a.m, but 10:15 in the in the evening, and everyone's hobbling about. So his theory is, all those who aren't that bothered about COVID are going to go on the first week. Obviously, I've been for a meal, but I kind of feel like, we'll wait maybe until maybe wait till May. I don't know. Maybe it'll be a bit more chilled. I hope it stays this way.
Yeah. I'm in no rush to get back to the pub. I'd like to go, but I'm not like, I can wait.
Yeah.
I can wait. I think there'll be a bit of a surge at first, and then it'll die down a bit. And actually, I think that will last for a while. I don't know.
I don't know.
Until indoor dining comes back in and indoor service, it's going to be packed. As soon as you can go inside again, the capacity will rise enough that it won't matter as much.
Speaking of which, what are we drinking tonight? So I see you've got yourself... Well, we've been boring, Kris. We've just got Coronas that we got last time.
Well, I got some Coronas. I left you the task of getting us a nice beer.
I literally got home half an hour before the podcast started. So
I just happened to have bought a case of Corona on Saturday.
Yeah.
No, on Friday. After meeting up with Berks, I was like, I want a couple of drinks. Bought the case, got back, and I was like, why am I going to drink this beer at home on my top? That's not good. I'm going to... not do that and just put it in the fridge.
Sweet. So that's what we've got.
Yeah.
What have you got, Steph?
I've got a white wine called Mudhouse from New Zealand.
Mudhouse.
Nice Sauvignon Blanc.
Okay.
I'm not that fussy.
Yeah.
Throw that
I mean, it's white, so I know that
It's
much.
white wine.
Yeah.
I bought it because it specifies as a selling point that it's 100% carbon neutral.
Ooh. Okay, that's
And
good.
I only bought it today, so I didn't actually look into it that much. But when I saw it, I was like, well, if I'm going to try and be an ethical consumer, I should try and buy things that, have a lower carbon footprint.
Do your bit, you know.
Definitely.
I don't know exactly what that means and what the processes involved are, because presumably a wine made in New Zealand still has to be imported to the UK, which surely involves some carbon.
Yeah.
However,
Well,
very nice.
I'm guessing it's the process on the New Zealand side that's
Yeah.
under emissions, and then the transporting bit balances it out.
I would think so.
I'd hope so.
Is it nice? Is it good?
It's okay.
It's okay.
So I'll drink
It
it,
is a white wine.
but I probably won't choose it again.
It's good to test yourself if you've got COVID or not. I mean, everyone's heard that about, if you want to test yourself, just make sure you're drinking a lot of wine, because then you can keep tasting it, keep smelling it, you know, just making sure that you're okay.
Don't forget to try different ones. A white here, a red there, maybe even a rosé.
Yeah, see if you can see the difference.
Yeah,
because it's not just that if your smell goes, it's that if it just goes a little bit. So sometimes you don't know because you're like, oh, I can still taste it a little bit. But actually everything just tastes the same.
You know what? In saying that, yesterday I decided to cycle the Rochdale Canal.
Yeah, because I've not seen you all weekend.
No.
How was that? You were doing, like you got home, late as well. You
Yeah.
were doing, a big trip.
Like, I set off at 2 p.m. here. I was like, I'll cycle up the locks a bit, because it's pretty much all uphill. And they're one after the other in the city. So you go up and up. Got to some of the top locks and didn't realise. I'm like, well, I've done 50 locks and it's only been an hour. So I'll just keep going. Yeah,
Just
I'll
keep
keep
going,
going. Yeah.
Nice.
Didn't realise I was at the top and it was going back downhill, but also the distance between the locks were a lot longer. So it took me another 2 hours to get to the bottom lock in Halifax.
Wow, you're all the way in Halifax?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
I got there, I was like, I really want a pint, but everywhere is fucking packed. I'm not getting served here. It's going to be impossible.
That's the problem, because does it go against you that you're on your own as well?
Probably, yeah.
Which is weird, because surely that's better
And
if
I've
you're a
got
small group.
And I've got to think about the bike, because I've got to lock that up as well somewhere.
Yeah, of course.
And I couldn't find anywhere to lock it up. So you know what? I know there's some pubs along the canal that I can go back to. I'll just set off back up the canal. If it took me 3 hours to get here, so it's about 6 o'clock now, 3 hours back, should be getting back about 9 p.m.
Yeah.
Solid. Set off back, found a bar. Took them 20 minutes to serve me and actually provide me with something.
That's quite a while.
It was not my beer, it was the food I ordered that came first.
Okay.
I ate all the food and then they brought the beer.
Normally the beer comes first.
Yeah.
That's strange.
The backlog that they must have there at the bars.
So I didn't press them on it, but
All right, well, you work in a bar, right?
Yeah.
How long do you reckon is too long for a customer to wait for a drink?
10 minutes.
10 minutes.
If it goes longer than 10 minutes, you have a serious problem.
Right. I was in Alton yesterday. Okay.
Right.
So I've got a friend who lives over in Alton. If you know Alton Towers, it's named after a small village called Alton. And it's funny because they actually, the residents a few years ago kicked up a fuss about the noise from the from the rides,
Yeah.
which you can only actually hear because they can't build above the tree line. You can only hear the noise if you go up to where this castle is, and there's like a churchyard, and it's quite high up on this hill. If you stand there, then you can hear the noise, but it's not that bad. Anyway, they complained regardless. So now it's like, oh well, if you pay council tax, then you can have 20 free tickets to Alton Towers a year, and they're like, yeah, all right, I'll take that. So my mate now, he's only just moved there, but he gets 20 free tickets a year. I'm not that fussed about Alton Towers or rides, but I will definitely be taking advantage of that, as I have been taking advantage of your car. So,
I was saying I would have gone down with you if you were coming back on the same day.
It's just I didn't know what time. But we went for a walk yesterday. We ended up there's like 6 pubs and probably just as many chapels and churches and stuff. It's weird. They've got like 6 churches.
That's a nice balance.
It's a very nice balance. Yeah, between
drunk and disorderly and religious and organised.
Yeah, exactly. So you've got 6 different pubs. The one we went to, it had a really lovely outside sitting space. It was really good, but it took 20, 25 minutes to get a pint, and we were sitting there thinking, well, this is lovely. The sun's out. It's quite nice. I'm having a nice time, but it is taking a while. So I wasn't sure how long is too long, and it was quite a big place, so I don't know if there was like a backlog of stuff. And we were asking ourselves, is there anything good that's come out of lockdown? One thing that I'd say that's good is, well, for hospitality, just apps. You don't have to get up and for the customers, you can just go. Table services obviously there.
Yeah.
So that's good. I don't know what you'd say is good out that's come out of lockdown for yourselves.
Well, personally, I can't attest to much other than having more free time to try and do different things. However, it has now got to the point where I'm bored of all those different things and I just want to go back to work.
Yeah. Well, okay, it's made you appreciate the work that you do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember when we went back in August, my manager was like, Kris, you seem much happier now than you did before lockdown. I was like, yeah, I had a terrible time in lockdown.
Yeah.
And I appreciate being here way more than I did before.
It really grounds you. It makes you realise, I have stuff to do. And that, what... okay, I was going to quote, work sets you free, but I think that quote goes back to something to do with house, which is probably not a good thing. So we'll probably gloss over that.
No, however...
What's good about lockdown for you?
Oh, well, for me, I have to admit, my lockdown timeline has been a bit weird because I was at the start of lockdown last year, I was still at uni. So we basically just got an email one day and it was like, by the way, guys, you're not allowed back. And then it was like, okay, fine. I mean, I still graduated and everything. So, and then I started working. So, and so I'm a physiotherapist and I work in clinics. I work with people. Mm-hmm. So in terms of lockdown, it hasn't really impacted my life that much because I still do all the things that I was doing before. I still am working in the same capacity. I am still getting out the house. So for me, I don't think I have personally felt the effects of lockdown the same way that other people have. It's been quite a good time for me in the sense that I have, like I said, I have graduated. I have been quite productive during lockdown. I've got things done and I've got a job and I've been all right.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
it's funny how not everyone's experienced it, but not everyone's experienced it in the same way.
Yeah, agreed. And I so for me, so my boyfriend Ollie, is like the opposite. He was working from home since March. He's seen the same 4 walls every day. He's lost his mind. He's not he's all right, but I would say he's not having a great time. Whereas I'm not having a great time, but my lifestyle has not changed that much.
Yeah.
So yeah, it has been interesting, and also just because of my line of work, I've met so many people that have told me so many different stories that I really have seen lockdown has affected people in such different ways.
I feel like that's what I miss the most is the human touch. I do not speak with people anymore unless it's with a headset.
Yeah, it's not very natural, is it? When you think about it,
When I met up with Berks, I saw him. I was like, What do you say now? How do you start a conversation?
I know, how do you speak to people?
For me, it's like I can't hug you. I can't go near you.
Yeah.
Like, can I? Like, am I allowed within 2 meters of you, or do we have to stand far apart?
It's just, it's such a weird one, because it's like, no, I don't know, you know.
And you just kind of don't. But then, like, I remember so lockdown easing last year, I think it must have been around May-ish time, June, I don't really know when everything was easing down. I think the one thing about this year is that time does not mean anything anymore. I don't really remember when things happened or when things didn't, because you've just kind of done, like, it's been so weird that the whole year blurs into one.
That's like, you acknowledge it's 2021.
Yeah.
But you couldn't say how long that's gone on for.
It's mad that it's April.
Yeah.
You go into a sort of autopilot. Like, my strategy for getting through this bullshit as fast as possible is to just kind of not daydream, but just kind of go into like an autopilot where every day's the same, and it's like, all right, I'm just doing the motions, we're getting through it. Every day we're getting closer to the end, whenever the end is. And then it's like, oh shit, it's April now. Fuck, like it was like Christmas a minute ago. Yeah. And a minute ago before that, it was like, you know, eat out to help out. It was the summer. Weird, you know, very weird. It really is. Yeah. I think at least 6 times a week I'll have a conversation with someone about how weird it is how quick time's going, you know?
But I think, like, for me, I think the weird thing is it's time is going both very quickly and very slowly. Like, I think that's the thing. It's like every day kind of drags, because you're like, when is this going to be over? When will this finish? Like, at what point will my old normality return? And that feels really slow. But then, like you said, like, events seem to just occur back to back after the other, and I'm like, you know, it was Christmas last week. Before, you know, I still remember, you know, it's weird.
And for me, often it's a case of, oh, okay, we're doing this now, all right, you know, like last week I'm pretty sure there was a blizzard happening, and now this week it's been gorgeous weather. Well, we were walking today, it was south of the peaks, it was Staffordshire Moorlands district, so it wasn't like technically Peak District, but it was like, you know, quite hilly. Whereas if we'd have done the walk like a week earlier, it would have been like snowing. You know, so it's just complete. There's nothing to say, oh, it is this time, you should be doing this. Like, normally you'd be booking holidays this time of year. It's so peculiar. Yeah. And it's gonna get a lot more. Time's going to go quicker, I think. I don't think it's going to be a case of, oh, now we're suddenly out of it. It's a smooth transition. You can go and get...
Agreed.
You can go get a draft beer now. You can do that. You can sit outside. It's like slowly we're getting there. Before you know it, it's going to be like, oh, hang on. Oh, wait, we're normal again. You got to wear masks to the shop, but other than that, it's fine. In fact, do you reckon we'll be keeping all that?
I reckon masks will be more relevant than they were before.
Maybe not mandatory, but I reckon more people will wear them.
Well, in Asian cultures, it's quite normal to wear a mask.
Yeah.
Like, if you're ever ill or anything, like, just with a
Yeah, I think some work cultures will change, you know. I think before people would go into the office if they were feeling ill, you know, they would still, I don't know, do the same things that they were doing and just power through it. Whereas now I think the culture has changed to be like, well, oh, if I'm not feeling that great, I shouldn't go in, you know.
Yeah.
It's better, not only for myself, but for everyone.
It's weird because the first time I wore a mask was actually around October 2019. So I was in India, and at the time there was a lot of smog. There'd been a lot of like fires and things, and a lot of smog in the air. So we were wearing the masks for pollution reasons, you know, just because. I mean, I was only there for 4 days, but we just thought, oh well, everyone else is doing it, we'll do it as well. And even in Beijing, remember the 2008 Olympics? I've never been to China, but I'd hope the air quality is better now, but it was always quite bad back then.
I believe they actually got some massive fans and just blew all the smog away.
I mean, that's...
Yeah. I saw something somewhere where they just thought, right, Olympics, everyone's coming to Beijing. It's smoggy as fuck. How do we fix this?
I'd love that if that was the actual conversation word for word that they had. It's like it's like lads, right? Olympics, everyone's coming here. What we saying? What's good? It's like just so nonchalant, chill. We get a big fan, right?
You know the meme,
traditional. Oh, what?
You know the meme where it's just a guy and he's sat at the desk and he's just like, "How about a fan?" And then they throw him out the window.
Oh yeah. But he's got the mask on because obviously they've not done the smog sort of thing. So it was weird. it was weird then wearing a mask. Like it felt weird. I had no idea that 5 months later it would be, that is what you do.
See, I know a big difference between me and you is as soon as you can take a mask off, it's off. Right, that's it. Adios. Whereas I forget I'm wearing it.
I'm like that. I'm like you. I forget I'm wearing it. I have to wear it all day at work, so I think that's why, because
both
I have
of you
it on
have to.
so often that I do just forget. But because I'm the same. Again, like if I'm grocery shopping or something or whatever, if I walk out the doors, people knew, I see them, like they're ripping their masks off.
Yeah.
And I just forget, and then I go home and I've like still got it on. I'm like, oh yeah, it's still on my face.
Sometimes I will forget, but like often I'll walk out of the shop and I've got like a motion where like my hand goes in the left ear, rip it off in the right pocket, done.
See,
I just want it off.
When I go to the shop, I will put it on before I leave. Because the shop's only there. It's like not even 2 minutes away.
Across the road practically.
I just put it on, wear it all the way, come back, and then I take it off again.
Yeah, I notice a lot of the time that I have a mask on because you don't have to wear a mask when you're outdoors. So lots of people don't. But yet I do, because I only ever have a mask on. So I have it on when I'm inside somewhere and then I forget to take it off. So I realise when I'm like walking somewhere down the road and I see everyone not wearing a mask and I go, oh, I still have my mask on, kind of thing. But I still probably will. I mean, again, in my line of work, I will have to wear a mask anyway. So I probably will still wear a mask when this is kind of, I won't say blown over, but as it is becoming more normal.
Well, to be fair, the kind of masks that you probably wear are the clinical ones. They're just so much more breathable than the ones that, people, like the fabric ones people wear on the street.
Yeah, I've not bothered with the fabric ones. And I always think as well, like, you have to wash them. They're like so much more maintenance. Just get a pack of masks and chuck them. Like.
But then that's the thing.
Sustainable.
You literally bought wine.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
But this is the thing with
consistency.
PPE,
okay.
right?
Well, yeah, but
but we're not in a clinical setting.
Well, they should manufacture them in such a way that it's like coffee pods, right? It is a ball ache, right?
Yeah.
To recycle those things, you got to drive to one of two places in the north in order to like recycle them. I'm not doing it in the bin.
You know what?
Doing that shit. But if they just made them more like the Nespresso ones, which are just like foil,
and you can take it to any Nespresso shop, and they're quite
but we need one more step. It needs to be completely made out of. But the problem is if it's foil, if it's all foil, aluminium or aluminum, whatever the fuck. The problem is if it's too small of a piece, it's not worth recycling.
Yeah.
Which
that's like one pod on its own is they just trash it anyway.
I learned that like 2 weeks ago, if that, and I'm like
I told you that, didn't I?
Did you?
Yeah.
Shit.
Like most places just don't bother recycling
so the rule is if something is smaller than your fist, it's not recyclable. I know everyone has different size fists, but like the general rule of thumb is
rule of fist.
Rule of fist.
Yeah.
So loads of things that people think are recyclable are not.
Mm-hmm.
And again, this is someone who disposes of PPE on a daily basis, which is massively wasteful, but also I have to do it, and it's the best thing to do. So until they make PPE better to
that should have been a concept from the ground. Like, it's a new thing, and I was surprised how soon. So obviously, like, COVID came like February, March for the UK. I was surprised how quickly I started seeing masks just littering the streets. Like,
it's crazy.
Within a week, I was seeing that shit. I was like, really? Like,
you know what? One of our friends has a face shield. I'm not going to mention any names, and I doubt they listen to this.
Yeah, fair enough.
Look, the face shield's like this.
Yeah, you look you look stupid. It's not helping anything.
It's not.
What are you doing?
Yeah, it's not fully covering your face. And I believe what I saw was a face mask protects others, whereas a shield just protects you. I'm like, well, that's...
But you know what? The reality is a face shield does not even protect you.
No, it doesn't.
Because the material it's made of is not...
It's just a layer of plastic.
It's just a layer of plastic. And also there's a big fucking gap underneath it. Like,
it
does not protect you from anything, or it's... It's self-serving. People wear them because they want to be like, I am doing something. But just put a mask on.
The amount of people... I know someone who... Yeah, exactly, 100%. I love it. Just don't be a fucking dick. I know a few people who have like volunteered in the first lockdown to like make those things. Because, I mean, you can't really make masks, but you can make the face shield things. And like, good, you're doing an effort. You're posting on social media, oh, look at me, I'm doing so good. I mean, I never did any of that, and maybe I should have got myself involved more, but then I wasn't furloughed, I don't know. But I kind of feel like, it's not that helpful actually, and I feel bad on those who genuinely thought they were making a difference. Like, oh yeah, we're clubbing together. You know, we're gonna make these shields, and let's like, you know, flatten the curve 6 weeks.
It's one of those like the intention is good, but like the result is not.
Well,
and they don't know that. You know, that's the thing. The intention is good, so
that's just the UK in general, to be honest. Like, they like the intention of like being British and the Empire and all that shit is good, but it's not good, is it?
I know you say that, but I have so many people that are like, I'm not wearing a mask, and you can't tell me otherwise.
You know what? My sister was like that. She got an exemption thing for Asda.
Really?
And I was like, why has she got an exemption thing?
How did she get that?
And
I was told. Where did she go specifically to get that, so that I know where to not go?
I was told she just went in and said she had asthma, and I'm sat here like, well, if you have asthma, you should definitely wear a mask,
Right.
completely and utterly. Like my ex had really bad asthma. She's like, wear a mask.
Absolutely.
Just wear a mask. 'Cause if you don't, you can kill me.
This is the thing. People keep going, oh, but you know, I can't wear a mask because it makes my breathing difficult. I'm like, people who are literally on end of life support care in care homes will wear a mask and be completely fine. Like, you will be fine. If a mask, surgeons wear masks for like 16 hours straight in surgery. Like,
think about the people. Think about those people. Like, they're the ones wearing them like more than you're wearing it 20 minutes in the shop. Just put it on.
As someone who has family who are really bad with asthma, that saves their lives. If you use the excuse to me that you have asthma, I would say that's more reason to wear a mask. That's not exemption. Yeah. That's more reasons to wear a mask.
Yeah, absolutely. I have had a few reasons that I do think like that is valid. I've had a patient who, again, so for lack of, I'll try and keep it as, I don't know, vague as possible. This person was attacked when they were younger from behind and almost basically suffocated. And he was like, I'm not wearing a mask. He's like, I'm not putting anything over my face that will make me feel like, you know.
Oh, wow. What? So that's
PTSD,
that back
isn't it?
Yeah, so he basically was like,
that's
putting
awful.
a mask on gives me PTSD, so I will not wear it.
I mean, that's fair enough, but I mean, fucking, you know, the world's a shit place.
It really is.
That to make someone feel that, oh my god, no, that's terrible.
I tell you what, when I was on the way home last night, I couldn't help but think about the Manchester pusher.
Who's that? What?
There's I guess a horror story about
he's a
someone.
prick. Yeah.
Someone will wait along the canals, and when you pass him, he will push you into the canal and drown you.
Yeah.
And I'm cycling home.
That's
It's pitch black, and I'm like, if I see anyone, I'm belting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Them in the face.
I mean, I've not lived in Manchester for long, but that is
it's like a Jack the Ripper story, just here.
Manchester pusher. Yeah.
Man. And it was never something solved. I think there was a couple of cases and then nothing came of it. Just like, some people died in the canal and we think it was malicious.
Is this recent?
Fairly recent, I'd say within the last 2 years.
Yeah.
I've heard, I've not heard much of it recently, but I don't actually watch the news. So.
I think they bring it up every now and then again in the Manchester Evening News just to spook people out.
Yeah, okay.
Well, I mean, you've got to be, look, if you're walking home late at night, you need to be,
They lock up they lock them up in certain parts in the city centre. They've actually got gates, so after a certain time, someone will come lock it so you can't go in. There's like a massive section that goes under some buildings, and I know that's one. It's like, if you go under there...
That's terrifying, you're not getting out.
No. I think I've been down there on my own twice, and after the second time, I won't go back.
Yeah, no.
And that's middle of the day.
How bad is it? You just want to ride your bike and have a nice time, and you got to think about this shit.
Well, I wouldn't go there on the bike.
Well, no. Well, no. But, I mean, I don't know. I just kind of feel like...
It's like one of those horror stories. It starts biting at the back of your mind.
Yeah, there's the things like... As soon as you start thinking about it as well, you're like...
Yeah.
It's
Once it's there, you're like...
It's going to happen. I just need to
Well, I'm cycling along. Headphones die. The light on the front of my bike dies. I'm like, oh god, this is lining up perfectly for a proper horror story.
Yeah. Luckily not, but...
No, I got off the canal around New Islington and just used the streets after that.
Yeah. Fair. No, it's good. But I think, it's bad that that's even a consideration. Like, you want to live in a world where that's not even a thing. You can just, chill and do what you want. But
I don't think it was a consideration. It's just one of those...
Well, you thought about it.
Yeah. It's not like... The chances of that happening was so small, I knew it wouldn't happen. But the idea of it happening was enough to make me freak out a bit.
Yeah.
So you know how, like, the chance of the AstraZeneca vaccine giving you blood clots is actually a lower chance compared to wine, apparently? Giving you blood clots?
So I actually had my second dose of the AstraZeneca vaccine yesterday.
Nice. Oh, yeah, because obviously, you work in that, so, yeah.
And the first time I literally went in and they just jabbed me and I left and that was fine. Yesterday when I went in, they were like, they had to ask all the questions about blood clots and, like, do you have a history of it, blah, blah, and all of these. And there's a few statistics. I don't know them off the top of my head, but it's something like you're far more likely to get blood clots from COVID than you are from the vaccine. And 2, like you said, you're far more likely to get blood clots just from pre-existing conditions or, from drinking or from smoking or, so many other things. And the risk is so low. So what is it? When they did the clinical trials, that's a few thousand people, 10,000 people, let's call it. And no one showed any signs of blood clots. Once they had vaccinated, what was it, like millions of people?
Yeah.
That's when it was like, 30 have blood clots.
Yeah, I think
30 people have 1 million. Like, that is so... And that's not to diminish the people that did get, like, it's terrible for the people that did have that side effect. Mm-hmm. My heart goes out to them. But at the same time, like, that is still such a low risk thing. And so I know people that have opted to either not get the AstraZeneca vaccine or they've tried to have their second dose switched to something else. And I just kind of go,
I don't think you can you do that? Have it switched?
You can't. They're doing trials at the moment to see what it's like if you have a mix of vaccines, but there's no formal studies done to say yes or no, basically. Mm-hmm. So once you've had the first one, like, you either don't have the second vaccine, and that's your own choice. You have the freedom to say that. Or you have it and hope for the best, but the risk is so infant.
I wouldn't even consider it. Like,
no, I didn't. Yeah. And people were asking me, like, say people like my friends and family who knew that I'd had the AstraZeneca one. They were like, "Well, are you going to get the second one? What about the clots?" And I was like, "What about the clots? Like, when you take any medication, there are side effects." Yeah,
every medication has side effects. Even if you don't get any. That's just because they're so small for you and your body's fought them off. But everyone.
And that's not to say that, like, again, that's not to say that I'm diminishing it. But at the same time, what I don't want is COVID.
Yeah. That is the goal here.
So if that's the part I can play to reduce the rates, then fine.
Mm-hmm. Well, I believe, I'm guessing it's something to do with the massive number that just comes up. Like, what was it, like 30 people in 30 million? So that's 1 in a million people get it. And now I was like, 30 people have died from this vaccine. And it's the same way with flying. It's like, you've got people who are terrified of flying because they think it's a massively dangerous thing. But statistically, it's safer to fly than it is to drive a car.
Yeah, I had this conversation, very similar conversation yesterday with Ollie. And it was basically, what's safer, riding a motorcycle or driving a car? And the obvious answer is riding a motorcycle is dangerous. That's the conclusion. Yeah. I mean, that is the right conclusion. That's the conclusion we came up to. But so the thing was like, well, more people die on motorbikes, say like per like 100, but you have so many more people who drive cars that you are obviously going to get like a higher number. But then statistically speaking, if you were to take that as a percentage, then driving a motorcycle was more dangerous. But it's the same same line of logic, like, it's the same line of reasoning. A
single massive loss of life that makes you go, oh, this is really dangerous. Yeah. It's like, well, no, because there's millions of other flights going on where nothing happens. It's this one flight that comes up and it's like, oh, boom.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still fly. My love for doing stuff trumps my fear of being in a plane. However, I do hate being in a plane.
What makes flying scary for you?
It's the lack of control. And so my sister, she's the same. It's not it's not that I know the risk is like rationally, I know it is fine. But as soon as I'm in that seat, my life is in the hands of someone else.
Yeah, but that's
the same way that I go for surgery, or I haven't had surgery before, but it's the same way as if you were to have a surgery or loads of things, but this is very much like, and I am that person that as soon as there's a bit of turbulence, I will like hold on to the seat and be like, this plane is going down. Like, I am not good with it.
You know what? I throw my arms up like I'm on a roller coaster.
So take off and landing is the word, and I will literally grab like whoever is sitting next to me, assuming I know them, and I will be like, "This is it. This is the end of my life right now." And then as soon as we're like in the air, I'm like, "Okay, it's fine."
Well, obviously the dangerous parts are taking off and landing. Once you're in the air, it's fine, and if there is turbulence, it's not a problem. It's just annoying. So they do try and avoid it. But I mean, even if you're driving a car, your life is technically in someone else's hands. Specifically, the guy who's driving into you because he's an idiot or whatever. You know, the person that crashes into you.
Well, I was going to say,
your life make me not want to drive.
Yeah, like your life is in the hands of. If you're going on the road, your life is in the hands of all the motorists around you.
You don't have control over it in the sense that you don't have control of what other people are doing, but you have control over what you're doing. Whereas when you're in a plane, you do all you are doing is sat there. That's it.
Do you feel the same way on a bus?
Sometimes. But, and on trains as well, and sorry, this is going to make me sound really weird, but yeah, I do, because I do have this thing of like, sometimes when I'm sat on a train, and up until I moved to Manchester, I used to live in London, so I would get on the tube quite frequently, really frequently, but I never really got on overground trains. It just wasn't a thing I had to do. But when I started getting overground trains, I was like, this train could so easily just like not be on this track. Like that's where my brain gets. But then, so this brings me on to a point. Yesterday I got on a bus. It was on Wednesday and I was going into central Manchester for work, and it's the first bus I've ever been on that had seatbelts.
Really?
Every seat had a seatbelt.
Wow.
And I was so like, oh, I have never seen that before.
What?
Why not?
What kind of, was that like a stagecoach?
It was a regular bus. Actually, sorry, it wasn't going into central Manchester. I was going out, so.
Like, what was the bus company?
Oh God, I don't know. Off the top of my head, I don't know.
Was it a purple bus?
No, it was a green bus. Like a dark green, like a tealy kind of.
Was it a double decker?
No, single short.
Okay,
stouty
I don't know then.
Bus.
I don't know.
But yeah, but I've been on that bus before. And there was no seatbelts. So this is like a new thing. And there were seatbelts, and I was like, this is crazy.
I mean, it's weird that there've never been seatbelts on buses, but I suppose it just isn't needed somehow. But I mean, if it crashes, like, surely you're gonna.
Isn't it weird that coaches require seatbelts but buses don't?
And coaches are bigger.
Yes, but I don't understand the laws, so I'm sure that's the reason.
It's all to do with, I guess, the DVLA and different classes of vehicles. But I mean, that's just procedure. That isn't actual like safety. I don't know. It's a weird one, you know.
It is. I don't know. Right, I feel like every seat should have a seatbelt, but at the same time, how many people are actually going to use those seatbelts? Because a bus driver can't physically go around and check every person has a seatbelt on.
Well, I don't know. I mean, you can check if they've all got tickets.
Oh, obviously, because when they get on the bus, they have to pay. It's a bit different, isn't it?
Well, I mean...
But I suppose if buses have gone for so long without, needing seatbelts, it's the onus is on the passenger to put their seatbelt on, not the driver to check that you have a seatbelt on.
So it's like, if you die, it's not my fault.
Yeah.
Yeah. I suppose the liability is waived once you've bought your ticket.
Yeah.
I guess that's part of the EULA agreement. If you get on this bus and you do not use a seatbelt, any fault lies with you. Unless somebody else hits us.
Yeah. But I've never had... You know what? I actually appreciate how good bus drivers are. I've never thought about that before. Because... You forget there's a guy driving it. It just feels like a very automated.
So underrated.
Yeah, like it's actually a very smooth experience. Not been on a bus for a long time actually.
I remember
they are good.
I remember being in quote unquote a bus crash when I was in high school. We didn't hit anybody. Was it the bridge? Did you go under a bridge? No. We hit a tree. There was a low hanging branch, and it completely smashed the windows on the top deck.
Nice.
And they were like, do we keep going? Do we not? I was like, well, I hope so, because we're in the middle of nowhere and I need to get to school. But they were just like, all right, just make sure no one goes upstairs, we'll keep driving. And they had to call the dispatcher and everything, and it took like 20 minutes to get it all sorted. We ended up arriving late. I'm just like, yeah, the bus
I think that's a fair excuse.
Yeah, the bus had an accident. Yeah. There was a bit of smashed glass everywhere.
We had an incident at school where, again, I used to get the bus to school, and it pulled up to the station, and as it pulled up, the bus wheel ended up over someone. It was like a year 7 kid's foot. It's like he had the whole bus. Well, I don't know, because I don't know about the weight distribution of a bus or whatever, but basically his foot was under one of the tyres. And
it doesn't matter what the weight distribution is, it's going to crush your foot.
So, but the thing is, I remember seeing this kid in school like the same day or the following day or whatever, and he had like a cast or whatever, but he was fine. And at the time I remember, because like there were loads of us that were queuing up to get on the bus, and he didn't scream, he didn't make a fuss, he was just like, there's a bus on my foot.
Well, I guess adrenaline kicks in first and numbs the pain. Now after like 10-15 minutes, you're like, this actually really, really hurts.
Yeah. Like, I'm sure, like, he definitely needed medical attention. But yeah, so, and then I remember, like, because obviously the driver didn't know, he just stopped the bus, and then, you know, so everyone was like, you're on someone's foot, you know, like, screaming at him. And he was like, what? And so it took so long for him to just even realise what happened until he moved off this poor kid's foot.
Yeah. Because I'm sure the kid's being hysterical, like, oh, you're on the foot. It's like,
no, honestly,
I can
out of
imagine...
everyone, the kid was the most calm person. And I literally remember watching it. I was like, I must have been in either like, it must have been year 12, like 11, 12, something around that. Like, I was either in sixth form or like GCSE, but I was older in school terms, and he was a year 7. And I remember watching it and him just being like, there's a bus on my foot. What? And everyone else was panicking, but he was just like, okay.
I tell you what, after that, he was the coolest guy in school, just so nonchalant, like, yeah.
Yeah.
This is me now.
It's like when a bird poos in your car, it's a good luck sign.
It's fucking annoying.
A bus parks, they say it's good luck, and that's just to make it feel like...
it's acceptable.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, a bus is on my foot. All right, I guess we're doing this now.
Imagine you just see something as an inconvenience, not a problem. Like, a bus literally driving onto me is not a problem. It is just an inconvenience.
He still went to school. Isn't that the mad part? He still went to...
Oh, no.
Surely you could get a week off for that.
If it was...
I'd be sticking my foot out under the buses as they drive past. Like, I want them to get this week off.
My family's going on holiday. I need a bit of time off.
Yeah. That was a big thing, wasn't it, at one point? Like, it was very...
They made it a lot harder to be able to book time off school to go on holidays.
I think it's...
What do you mean book time off school to go on holidays?
Like, when I was younger, you could just... I want to take my kid out for a week and we're going to go abroad. And the school would be like, yeah, whatever. And then later on, when I was older, it was... You cannot take your child out during term time. You have to go during school holidays. And families were like, well, yeah, but it's so expensive. We just can't afford to do it like that. If we can take them out for a week, it's much cheaper and a lot better. And it was always a back and forth of... And parents just started accepting the fine.
But now you get punished. Yeah, you get punished if you...
The parents were just like, you know what? It is genuinely cheaper to go during term time and pay the fine than it is to go during summer holidays or whatever.
Yeah. So I basically missed the entirety of year 8 when I was at school. So I was an extra in Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire.
Oh wow! What?
Yeah.
You kept that quiet.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that.
So
I don't care about the other story now. Tell us more about that.
I went to a stage school when I was younger. It was like just literally down my road, your classic like dancing, singing, whatever. And when I was in year 8, they were like, well, so where I grew up in London, the studios where they filmed Harry Potter was in North London, which is where I live. So it was close. And when they needed extras, they basically just rallied all the stage schools in the areas and were like, well, we just need kids. And if you've ever seen the film, like, there are loads of kids. It's not like it's not like, you're special or whatever, but it's like there are loads, so they just needed bodies. And because I was in year 8 and my parents were like, that's not an important year.
It's actually not an important year. I think isn't that the only year when nothing happens?
Pretty much.
You've got the exams at year 7, and then I think you can choose your options year 9, and then year 10 11 you do exams.
So
year 8 now, fuck it.
Yeah, no one cared. Okay. So I was like, yeah, I mean, I'll do it. And like loads of people. So actually, I had this conversation like a few days ago, because I was like, in my area where I grew up, like, it wasn't that weird, because quite a few people did it, because we all went to, a lot of us went to stage schools, a lot of us went to like these things that we had the opportunity to do that. And because the studio was in the area, it wasn't like that's really cool kind of thing. It was just like, oh yeah, you're doing that. That guy did that last year. Like, you're not special.
Yeah.
Like,
okay.
Because completely different response here.
Well, no, because obviously up here,
like, we've got Media City now, but that's in the last 5 years.
It's not really comparable, though.
No, it's really not.
No, I think.
But even so, what do we do up here? CBBC Sports.
Yeah, I mean, Channel 4's here now, but it's not really Goblet of Fire, is it?
I mean, it was a great experience, and I'm like, that was my peak. So at like 30 years old now, I'm like, I peaked at 12.
Nice.
But I will forever be on IMDb, and my face is immortalized on YouTube.
Yeah.
So.
The way IMDb works is you can't make a profile for yourself. You have to be credited in an actual film.
Yeah, so one of my friends in sixth form was like, I am making you an IMDb page.
Nice.
I don't think it still exists. I think it was like, they were like, no. But
no, you're probably on there somewhere.
You know what? It'll be interesting to look it up after the podcast.
Would you be in the credits, do you reckon?
No, so in the credits it just says like uncredited extras, basically, because it lists the stage goals.
Oh, I see.
So it doesn't, because there were like 1,000 extras, so yeah, they would not list you all on the credits.
But it was a fun experience, though.
Baby sister
amazing.
Loves Harry Potter so much. I'd be like, I met one of the extras.
Yeah, do you know what's funny? Is that I fucking hate Harry Potter.
Really?
Yeah, I do.
Why? Why'd you hate it? I've not watched it in so long, but I watched it loads over Christmas.
I grew up. I grew up with the books, so they came out. I think I was in primary school, but I was that generation that they became popular to begin with. And I remember reading them, and even when I was a kid, I remember reading them and being like, "What the fuck is this?" Like, and even like now, I look back and I kind of go, "Yeah, they're shit books. Like, they're just shit."
Wow.
Sorry.
I've not read the books, but I've wanted to. I've read half of the first one.
Honestly, it's a waste of your time.
But they've done so well. There must be something good about them.
Yeah, because people relate, because they want to be like, oh, Harry Potter was this weird kid and we're weird, so let's just pretend we're Harry Potter and we're like the weird
I will
kid.
say, my mum is an English teacher and she absolutely loves them. Like, she was reading them before they even started doing the films.
I hate it. But, like, you know, best thing I ever did.
Yeah.
And it was a really good experience. And it was a really good experience for, like, not just the fact that you're in a film or whatever, because that's not, I mean, now, yeah, sometimes my mates will be like, oh, like, send me the YouTube link or whatever. I'll be like, yeah, fine. You know, it's a fun story. It's like that fun fact that when you work somewhere, they go like, introduce yourself and tell us like 2 facts about yourself. That's like my fact. But like, it was really good in the sense that you meet loads of people. Like, I met, so the particular scene that I was in, I was legit, so you're in the Great Hall.
Yeah.
I was in Ravenclaw. Not that that makes any difference whatsoever, but that was like the team I was assigned to. And this is my favourite bit of the entire thing, and I'm actually really glad to have this like out in the public now. Like, there's this, this is the bit I cling on to every time. I was sat at the very end of the table where all the teachers were stood. So you've got like the stage, you've got the teachers, then you've got the tables, and I was right at the end of the tables, and my exact position was right next to where Alan Rickman was as Snape.
Oh,
wow.
So there were like, I've got pictures, there's like years of like, and in between takes, Alan Rickman would come and like sit with us and just be like,
What's going on?
Hey kids, let's talk. And it was like so good because I remember there was a guy, because I was 12 or 13. I was like that year group. I was really young still when I did it, but there was a guy sat opposite me who was a few years older. I mean, he probably was about like, I don't know, 15-ish at the time. And I don't know if you've ever seen Dogma, but it's basically a film. It's Kevin Smith film.
Doesn't ring any bells.
So, right. So Kevin Smith, I think he's a producer, director, whatever, but he did like Jay and Silent Bob, Dogma, that like loads of films that were really big in like the 90s, sort of late 90s, early 2000s. But there's a film called Dogma in which Alan Rickman plays, I want to say Gabriel, like the angel. And one of the major plot points is that he does not have any balls.
All right. Quite a specific plot point.
Yeah. So like, because I remember this, and I remember this so vividly when I was like 12 or 13. And that basically this extra that I was sat opposite with, and Alan Rickman was sat next to me, and we were at this table, and he's like asking us like, you know, how is it going, whatever, and do you have any questions? And this other kid like opposite me just goes, yeah, so how was it to play an angel with no balls? And everyone was like, what?
Because that's a sharp contrast to his character in obviously Harry Potter, because he was literally pretending to be a Death Eater. Like, you gotta have some fucking balls for that, even if they are all, you know.
I mean, I've not seen too many of Alan Rickman's films, but I'm now 2-1 on the evil scale.
Yeah.
Obviously, the first one being Die Hard.
Yeah. For some reason, I remember, I think it was this is going to sound stupid, a Family Guy cutaway where it was something to do with Alan Rickman's answering machine. And it was like, hello, I'm Alan Rickman. Please leave a message. And then it would be like, hello, I'm Alan Rickman. I am testing leaving a message or something. I can't remember. It was some stupid like Family Guy thing. I don't even watch that show anymore. But I mean, that when you say Alan Rickman, that's what I think about. I don't think about Snape. I don't think about the genius actor that was Snape.
Like Alan Rickman to me is Hans Gruber, and then second is the guy from Love Actually. And I've only ever seen that film once, and everyone always goes, oh, but he was in Love Actually, whatever. But he was in Love, and he's like, I don't know, an important character. And I have that thing because he's the one that like buys his mistress a necklace, and then
See, I have seen that film years and years ago, and I've never put the two together because I've probably not seen it after watching Harry Potter.
I did not see Love Actually for years. I just didn't. It's not like it wasn't a conscious choice. I just never watched it. And then every year Christmas would come by and people would be like, oh, you haven't seen Love Actually? We have to watch Love Actually. And it just wouldn't happen. And then one year my sister was like, you have to watch Love Actually. It's so good. And I watched it and I was like, so I waited all this time for this.
See, completely different.
It's been built up to the point where it's like, it's only going to go downhill from here.
I think it was a movie of its time in the sense that like there's that bit with Keira Knightley and the guy with the cards and you know the guy from what's his face the teachers and not Zombieland but The Walking Dead.
Oh
that
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And he's like, oh, I love you, and he's got the cards, and it's like that was in 2002 whatever.
Yeah, that's pretty
that's
cool.
cute.
Yeah, that's nice.
In 2020,
it's like
creepy.
Yeah.
Times have changed a lot.
This is
last week's fucking
quick as well.
This is last week's fucking topic about fucking dating apps and all that shit.
Yeah, like okay, so you've been with your other half for a while now, right?
I was on. Fine. I was on Tinder before. Obviously, I met Ollie. Maybe like I don't know. I want to say maybe like 8 years ago now. Like in its infancy, like really in its infancy. Because I remember being at uni. And I remember people judging you for being on Tinder because it was proper like it's a hookup
sketchy.
app. Like if you're
trust me, times haven't changed.
And this was
Tinder,
the first time, like there were online alternatives. Like I believe Zuckerberg had his hotornot.com, right, which is the same concept pretty much, right? But
but it doesn't match you with them to talk to them. It's just like who do you think's hotter?
Yeah, literally. Yeah. But so it's the same concept. But it's weird how, like, well, for me at least, different dating apps have different kinds of people. Tinder is hookups and people who just waste time. I don't use it. This is all my opinion, by the way. TGT does not condone my opinion. It just is a platform for me to voice my opinion. So please sponsor us. Whereas Bumble is more for people who want something not too casual, but sort of, right? Window shopping, and Hinge is for people who want to be paid up. They want to have like something that's more serious. There's different kinds of people on these apps, and step back a minute. That's fucking weird. Like normally you just go to a bar. They seem alright. Oh, you're alright, and then you just you try and be a bit cheeky or whatever. That didn't make me jump this time.
That marks the hour.
That does mark the hour. Yeah, I didn't normally. I jump very easily, right?
I jumped internally.
Well, literally. So I didn't. Okay, I remember you telling us, Steph, when you first were introduced to us, and you heard the podcast, that you were saying how we switch conversations fucking quick. I'm going to switch the conversation again, right? Yeah. We're gonna go back to dating apps, but I was with my mate obviously today in Alton, and he's got a dog, a little cute schnauzer. She's called Maisie. We call her Maisie Mouse sometimes. She's fucking adorable, but she barks with an extremely high pitched bark, and I'm not used to dogs. And when she barks, like, I do jump. Like, I'm not scared of her. I've never had a bad experience with a dog, but I'm like, I'm just on edge. Like, it's weird. Like,
Does she bark often?
She barks at fucking anything. Like, where we were walking where there were 3 huge bulls, right? So barking at them. Not that they would even notice her, because they just we've trodden on you. Oh, okay. Like, she's that small. So she's barking at them. She barks at people crossing the road. She feels like she has to protect the family, which is what dogs do.
Yeah.
But I just get shit. I just jump so easily. But I've not been attacked by a dog as a kid or anything. I've got no underlying. I'm just not used to it.
Fair. I use that to my advantage because I know you jump easily.
Yeah.
So I will stand somewhere.
You sneeze and it scares the shit out of me.
Yeah. Not even that. Like, you'll come
really annoying.
And I'll be in the kitchen and you'll be like, "Hello," and I'll just pop around and go, "Bah."
I'm like, "Oh fuck."
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I'm in the flat, but you don't expect me to jump out at you.
Well, no. Well, it's like when I was living at my mum's house during the first lockdown temporarily, I knew she was in the house. It's her house, but I'd be in the kitchen. She'd come in the kitchen and scare the shit out of me. Like, I can hear her coming down the stairs, which makes it highly likely she'll come in the kitchen. She comes in, it scares the shit out of me. I'm expecting her coming in. Why am I scared? I hear you. I hear you coming down the corridor. And then you open the door and it scares the shit out. I just get scared easily. Like, it's so weird.
Do you like horror films?
I do like horror films.
Do you get scared when you watch horror films?
I don't watch things that often. I don't know what I do with my time. But I mean, I don't think I get scared.
Because I really like horror films.
Yeah, but I don't think
shit my pants.
I don't think I get scared.
No,
I don't think I do.
I do. But the thing is, I like it.
I get inside it. I get in the world. Thing. I've never seen it.
You've never seen it?
I've never seen it.
So it was my...
Is that the one with the clown?
Yeah. So, but...
The balloons and shit in the gutter.
It was my entry into horror because, there was the original one with Tim Curry, and that it was like a 2-part TV series thing in the 90s, but it was, or late 80s or whatever. But it was basically 2 long films, a bit like this one. I am the youngest of 4. And I watched it with my 2 older brothers, who throughout the entire thing kept on jump scaring me. So it gave me this, and I must have been about, I don't know, 5 or 6 when I watched it, and it was just on TV at the time, and they literally kept on coming out behind me, being they all float in a weird creepy voice kind of thing, So I was no, but I was also actually. Kind of I kind of like it.
Yeah, you kind of enjoy
I don't know,
it.
that's the thing
it's
with
a weird
fear.
thing.
It's you don't like it, but then because you're all right, you're actually, do I? And I think it's the same thing with roller coasters or with anything that's that adrenaline kind of.
Well, I'm not a massive fan of roller coasters, but I don't not enjoy them when I'm on them. I'm
Yeah.
not that bothered about them, but they are kind of fun. And I did actually say this earlier. There's a quote that I live with quite a lot, and it is, when do you feel the most alive? When you're that close to death, like an inch away, it's sick.
I would like to put caveat in here.
I mean, if you've got caviar, then I'll have it. A caveat, okay, yeah, go.
You shut down a roller coaster once.
I forgot about this, but yes, I did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was Grand National in Pleasure Beach, and you just threw up everywhere.
Yeah, man.
completely destroyed the carriage, and they had to shut it down for like half an hour.
It was so good. I could not allow anyone else to experience it's adrenaline fueled high G goodness. I just could not. In fact, wait, Grand National, that wasn't even. Was that the wooden one?
Yeah, it's the one with 2 tracks.
That one's slow as shit.
Yeah, I know, you threw up.
Oh god, this is why I'm not that bothered. Like, my mate can get free tickets to Alton Towers. I don't give a shit. I'm probably not. I mean, I will probably use them at some point, but I'm not that bothered. Like,
see, I was saying to you before you drove down, I will come down with you if you're coming back on the same day, simply to go to Alton Towers, because I want to go on some roller coasters.
Yeah, we will do that. He's up for that. Like, we'll like you'll drive to Alton Towers. You'll get out. I'll drive to the pub.
Yeah,
and then we'll just see you later.
I was like, this sounds good to me because it means I get to go to Alton Towers as a secondary objective. It's not this is what we're doing. It's you're doing this and you were coming down here anyway. So I'm just going to go fuck off and do that.
Yeah, we will do that. I'm just not. On this particular weekend, he did actually have his whole family around as well. Well, I say whole family, his brother and his mother and his father. So I kind of feel like
there is an imposter among us.
A little bit. Yeah. Have you played much of Among Us?
Yes, I have. Not for a while actually, but when it had its like hype, I was like, yes, I'm fucking on this. And we had like weekends where we'd get like all our mates and we'd have like a Discord thing with like, it's like, I really enjoy Among Us, but if I'm not the murderer, it's not worth it.
Yeah.
Like, I just want to be the imposter.
Like, the same thing with me. We had like a Discord group and we all went and played Among Us. I think I had like 3 or 4 weeks where I was just innocent all the time, non-stop. Yeah,
that would really bug me. Because like the best bit is when you play like 2 imposters and then everyone has the crewmates and you're like in cahoots with each other. And you've got to like, and there was a time where like, so me and Ollie, we were playing it. And we ended up both being the imposter. And because we're in the same room, we just like took off our headsets and we're like, we're going to fucking wreck these bitches.
Yeah, because you're in cahoots. You can... I'll be honest, like... So I've got mates who, like, we normally do like a pub quiz kind of Discord thing. On a Monday, it often becomes just playing Among Us. I can't be fucked with that. I actually can't be arsed. Like, clearly I don't like fun, right? But in saying that, I have played it a few times where I've been the imposter... And like, I don't play it often, so I don't know the map. And everyone's talking. Oh, where was the murderer? Was it in this room? Was it in that room? I don't have a fucking clue.
I know, but that gives you points because that's you'd be like, oh, I don't know this game. I don't know where they were.
Yeah, but that only works for the first week. I mean, they've been playing it for like 3 months now, and I play it like once a month, so it's like.
I know, I still play that card. I've been playing it for like 6 months. I'm still like, I don't know the map.
Well, no, but
what am I, a fucking nerd? I don't know.
The real reason why, but they know I'm a nerd, so that's not going to work. The reason why I don't know where I am is because I am the imposter. I'm using the vents, and then like, oh, Marcus, where did you go? I'm like, I don't fucking know. I vented, but I'm not telling you that. Like, I don't know where I went.
I'm on the left. No, I don't know.
Yeah, literally, that's what I've said. It's like, right, control room, or like what you're saying.
Yeah, like legit. I've been playing this game for months now, and I've been playing the game for months. I know the maps. I'm not an idiot, but my like, I feign stupidity from start to finish to be like, I have no idea what's going on. Oops, did I just murder someone? Oopsies. Oh, did I just shut off the oxygen? Like, yeah, it's the best way of getting to the getting everyone, because you just want to win.
Yeah. Well, I was on recently with one of my mates, and they were like, I never get killed by the imposter. I'm always like one of the last ones going. I'm either killing everyone or avoiding being killed. And the round before, we were buddy to win the round. The next round, I was the imposter. So I stayed buddy with them, and we were walking around chatting because we had crew link. I got to a point, it's like, Kris, do you have any tasks? I went, yeah. This. Killed them straight away.
Amazing.
What's so hard to understand about swish, swish, stab?
Swish, swish, stab. This is my task. And it must have been like 5 minutes of running around with this person before I actually committed.
Yeah.
I got kicked out straight away.
Oh, yeah, 100%. No, I love that. But like, for the people who made that game, there was, I think, 3 developers. Now, I don't keep up to date with them, but they hired like a marketing person a bit ago or something. Like,
well, yeah, because the game has been out for a while.
Yeah.
Years. It's not a new game. Yeah, it's been out for years. And then all of a sudden, everyone's playing Among Us.
But imagine being those people, like how mental that must be and how sick. Because they've hit a sort of formula, and it's the dream. Like, oh, people are enjoying our game. Like that's amazing. Like that must feel really good. I'd love to feel that about this podcast. I just feel like, you know, people probably don't enjoy it.
People are enjoying it.
Yeah?
Good thing positive.
I'm enjoying it, but I don't know about the audience.
You are enjoying this podcast.
Leave a review, please. But
sleep.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like we could do. You know, ASMR is getting very popular now.
Yes.
Oh,
are you into that? I'm into that.
No, I fucking hate it.
Okay, I should not have admitted that.
No, I was about to say I'm into weird things. The weird thing that I'm into is like the spot popping. So like you're into ASMR. I'm like I fucking love spot popping.
There was a time when I enjoyed that, but not so much anymore.
Yeah,
like, you know,
I
people
fully
cleaning
agree
out
with that.
wax out of ears and shit.
Yeah, but no, it's only satisfying when you get like a complete like thing removed. I don't know, like that sounds really weird, but like yeah. But I get ASMR.
For me though, it has to be unintentional. There's a whole subcategory on YouTube for unintentional. When people talk into microphones like what we've got, and they're doing like a fuck that. I can't be asked for that shit. All right, that's not natural. I want to hear about this guy who owns a Japanese pen store in Tokyo, and I want to hear him speaking in Japanese to his customers. Well, no, because I don't know what the fuck he's saying, but he sounds so invested in his products, and he's got a lot of passion, and he's talking about, you know, when you are right. I mean, I can't speak Japanese, but let's just do, you know, pretend I'm speaking Japanese. When you write a letter to someone, it needs to be like as if you're speaking to them. It's a very personal connection, you know. So you want to find a pen that like speaks to you, and like you are one with, like a fucking wand in Harry Potter. It's that kind of level, right? Yeah. And it's just it's such a chilled vibe, so relaxing, and I fall asleep within seconds. Like it's amazing. It's a sleep thing.
Yeah, it is a sleep thing, and I was like that with the pop. Spot pop-ins, and it's weird because it's not like it's the fact that it just feels so complete, you know, like it just feels like they're doing what they need to do.
It's disgusting.
It's horrible. It's disgusting, but like it's
but you're
necessary.
achieving something.
Yeah. But then there's a thing about the ASMR. So there was a thread on Reddit a few days ago. It was either on Ask Reddit or Ask Women. I don't know which one, but it was women of X Reddit. Who show their face in nudes and NSFW videos and whatnot. Okay. Why do you do it? Do you feel any shame? And there was someone who posted a comment that was like, I feel no shame. I fucking love it. I make plus 10k per month. She was like, I make 5 figures a month by doing it. So I feel no shame. So and so she didn't leave her link on her comments, but as a person of the modern world, I cyberstalked her. So I clicked on her username and then found her YouTube channel, and she had like over 1 million subs. She does like ASMR videos basically, but she's one of those like and I won't say that there is a niche for this, but there is a niche for this because she's one of those like very thin white anime looking girls that wears like a wig and has like the filters on, whatever, and she does like ASMR into her microphone, and she's like, yeah, I make 10k, and then she has like an OnlyFans page, and she has a Twitch account as well, and she was like, yeah, I make 10k plus a month. I feel no shame because the money makes me happy.
Nice.
And I was like, I have to kind of respect it, you know, like I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, I think you've got, the way that I see it, you've got to be smart in this world. Like, when it comes to making money, like, for example, that, in my opinion, isn't sustainable for a lifetime, but it is achievable right now. And if you're willing to do it, and if it's cool, then I guess, like, if it's safe and it's, like, legal, then fuck it, go.
All the TikTokers, Instagrammers, whatever, it's not sustainable. And,
no, of course not.
I guarantee 99% of those people have not thought of a long-term future plan.
I'm pretty sure in 10 years that shit will not be viable. I just feel like the world will have moved on.
Else, right?
Yeah, there'll be, of course.
So unless they are able to transcend platforms, they will either be left... I mean, MySpace was like the OG, if you will. I remember I was on MySpace. Like, I was fully on MySpace when it first started. Like I'm not that much older than you, but I'm a little bit older than you. That I was enough.
Okay,
but like, MySpace was like my big thing until Facebook became a
of course.
thing.
I caught the tail end of MSN, and then it was Facebook for me. So if I was, say, I don't know, 3 or 4 years older, maybe I would have caught.
Yeah, so for me, like the marked difference was that on MySpace you could customize every aspect of your profile. And don't get me wrong, there were others, but there was like Zanger and like Photobook or something. I don't know, whatever. There were a few others. But MySpace was the one like you can customize it, and I did, and it was one of those. But like, and I will, if people who are listening to this, the millions and millions of viewers, there was a thing about like, so when I used to be on MySpace, I learned HTML because of MySpace.
Oh, nice.
I learned how to do like very, 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 and in those days, minor programming things because of that. So I was, of my generation, I bet there are loads of people of my generation that started out doing MySpace and are now like programmers or like software engineers.
Yeah, that's interesting. That could be, well, it's in the same token, like when YouTube was first a thing. I mean, I was using Google Video initially, and then Google bought YouTube, and I was like, okay, I'm trying to watch Google Video, and it fucking comes up with YouTube. What the fuck's this shit website? And I now have a job where it is my job to actually, in a roundabout way, make YouTube videos. So because of that, so I totally agree. Those defining moments, and then you make a career out of it.
Yeah, like I feel remember being on MySpace and being like, oh, I need to make like
it's possible.
like Dropbox of like my favorite bands, and like for me it wasn't an like I was interested in it, but I knew it wasn't my life. But
back then it wasn't available in school.
Yeah,
like, it's not something you could do.
And like IT for us was like, it was a GCSE you could choose to do. So it was like, but for the people that enjoyed it, I fully imagine that like that really did spawn like a generation of people that were really interested in programming.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
That's actually amazing. That's some real good change. Whereas, of course, like, well, I suppose with TikTok, I mean, the whole onus is, we're making like short form films, sort of. But I mean, a lot of it is just, or we're learning how to dance better. So, I don't actually have TikTok. I've avoided that like a plague.
Yeah.
But it's infiltrated Instagram and YouTube. You just can't get away from it.
So avoided TikTok like the plague, and I don't know if this has anything to do with what you're about to say, but so music.ly.
Yeah, Musically, yeah.
Am I allowed to talk about it? But like, so TikTok is that. TikTok is Music.ly or whatever, but they kind of got done for being perpetrators of showing underage. It wasn't. They did not.
TikTok is no better, apparently.
Yeah, they did not show explicitly underage things happening. However, it was basically like a window to that kind of side of the internet.
That is not good.
It's dark.
Yeah, but so, and then because you remember you'd have like apps on your phone and you get adverts. I remember I remember like having apps on my phone. I get adverts like Music.ly, and I'd be like, what the fuck is this? And then, but it was like a piano thing, and it was like, oh, but you can sing into your phone. And then that became TikTok. And so it's basically, well, no, this is the thing. I don't know, like, what is okay to say and what not. But it's basically like a Chinese app. And they do, like, every app monitors your data. Like, when we live, whatever, it's already 1984. Get over it. Mm-hmm. But things like Music.ly and TikTok, it's like preying on young teenagers,
those are the ones using it,
young girls.
And whenever you upload things to these platforms, Twitter, doesn't matter what it is, Facebook, YouTube, the platform owns the content. Yeah. So of course that's when legally it becomes their responsibility to make it safe and to, filter it and all that kind of thing. But I mean, the potential, they're giving you the tools to do some really dark and shady shit with it.
That's the thing. It's like in and of itself, what you're doing isn't necessarily bad, but the context in which you're doing it and the company in which you are promoting is not.
And the people who have access to it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and as a kid you might not realise, and I then guess it's a case of the parents like not realising. But that said, I mean, it's kind of weird because obviously generations are moving along. I'm not having kids anytime soon, but I'd like to think I'd be aware of this shit. So I'd monitor what my kids do better because I've got a better understanding of it.
So, but then here's a question, like, do you want to monitor your kids? Because I wouldn't monitor my kids. I
not to that degree, because I want my kids to have the childhood that I had. It wasn't monitored as such, but my parent was concerned and just wanted to make sure that, probably she didn't really understand it that much. I'd like to fill that gap.
It is super strict upbringing. And I was like the type where, like, when my dad would walk in the room, I'd like switch off my laptop and be like, I was reading a book. I am doing my studies. Like, I mean, I've turned out fine, so it's fine.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, you do. And my mum didn't want me having any pictures of myself on Facebook.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. But of course, and I didn't for a little while. But today, now, I mean, obviously I'm an adult now, so it's different, right? I'm over 18, but that's just not normal. No one else was doing that, and I kind of realised, well, she's concerned for me, but I mean, this is what's normal, so I guess it's fine, right? I don't know.
Well, it's a different normality, isn't it? Because now the people, the generation of teenagers now, it is so normal for them to be online from birth, whereas for us, we chose when we got to start being online, in a sense. It was a choice. You didn't have to have MySpace, you didn't have to have Facebook.
It feels like it's mandatory now. Like, kids these days have to have these things.
Whereas, like, if I was at school now, I would have to have all of these things just to even, and that
just to
in
fit
itself
in
doesn't even make you fit in. But at the bare minimum, that is it.
Yeah.
Whereas for us, we didn't really care, and I hope kind of, as those kids grow up and they become adults, they realise that it doesn't really matter that much. But actually, that's the generation that they live in.
I remember my sister quite recently, my baby sister, I'll clarify.
How old is she?
She's just before being a teenager.
Okay.
So quite young. She put up on her Instagram, obviously, like you just said, you have to be online because that's the normal thing. She put on all this thing, like she goes to this school, she's this age, this and that. And I said to my mum, like, you need to speak to Izzy about online stuff and get her to remove those aspects, because that is too much information.
There's way too much.
Especially for a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I remember my mum telling me about that shit. Oh, you shouldn't have any of that information.
Like the same,
now I appreciate it, like
the same dangers exist, but people are more aware of them. So people being more aware makes it harder for them to be exploited. But if you're not aware, it's ripe for the taking. Yeah. Which is why I told my mum, like, make sure she's got a private account. Make sure she doesn't share this information. Yeah.
It's private. It's shared between friends. But that's the thing. Is, that sounds lovely, but quite frankly, is quite unrealistic. I mean, I am inactive on social media. I have an Instagram account. I have an email address. That's pretty much it. Like, I don't have Facebook. I don't have Twitter or anything like that. I have Instagram and I have WhatsApp.
Yeah.
But I still get random requests.
Oh, mate, I get loads of texts from random companies, like, asking people on. I mean, I've got Instagram like you, and like I've got randomers messaging me about
and that's
just,
it. Like, so my Instagram.
Oh, do you want to chat? It's like,
so I'm like, and I get these things. I'm like, do you want to chat? No, I don't. We should leave me the fuck alone. Like,
It's like I've got 3 Instagram accounts. Obviously, one's the podcast account that I'm managing. Then I've got my private account, which is pretty cool. Then I've got my public account, which is all right. But it's like the information between public and private is so dissimilar. Like, I've got things I would put on my private account that would not go on the public account. It's more accessible, and you don't want people to access it.
At the end of the day, we just want to be responsible for our kids, and obviously, the young ones in our families and so on, because you don't want to, you want the best for them. You don't want to limit them too much. Yeah. And I feel like, more so recently, I need to, do what I can to be aware of this shit. I've not told you, actually.
God.
But I got some news on Friday when I, had the family meal. You're sitting back from me as if I've got a virus or some shit.
No. I know it's not the virus, but with you and news in this context means it's either shocking or bad.
It's twins, actually.
Twins?
Yeah. Not mine. Shit, I didn't clarify. I'm I'm gonna be an uncle, basically.
Yay!
I know.
Your sister?
Yeah. Gonna be an uncle, man.
I've still not met her.
I know. Well, I mean, hopefully you'll meet the twins at some point.
Twins.
I've met the father, right?
Yeah.
I'll probably meet the twins before I meet your sister.
Mate, on Friday, when I heard the news, COVID went out the fucking window, I hugged my sister. I was like, mate, you're a top bloke. You've got my blessing. I'm gonna order a pint.
I mean, it's done now. So
Yeah, exactly.
Or not.
I was so happy, you know.
That's such
And here's the thing, right? I am the youngest in the family at the moment. So for almost 26 years, there has been no birth in the family. We've not got a massive family. We're quite close-knit. But this is massive. And they're twins.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to do them, you might as well,
That's
get them
amazing.
both out at the same time. It saves a bit, more efficient.
When's the Jewish date?
Around October, November, right? So, I went to go and see my sister and her boyfriend a few weeks ago, and they didn't even let on. Like, I had no idea. It was sick.
We met the boyfriend down at his canal boat, didn't we?
Yeah,
a couple of weeks ago.
He knew at that point.
Did he?
The cheeky fucker? Yeah, I had no idea. And I was like,
I mean, to be fair, from his perspective, he's got a stranger there. So,
well, no, he just the thing is, twins are very risky, right? Yeah. And of course, there is a risk that things could go wrong, so they don't want to tell anyone the news until it's so many weeks in, right? But this is mental, man. Like, I'm still trying to. The reason why I'm telling you is because.
Do you have any other niece or nephews, or is this the
no,
first?
this is the first.
Yeah.
I said, I am the youngest.
Yeah,
that is it.
I am the youngest. I only have one nephew currently. My brother's wife, fiance, is expecting literally in 2-3 weeks.
Oh my god!
Wow.
Yeah, and I'm like, it's a baby. I'm like, I can't wait. And I'm just like, so Christopher, my nephew, that was he's 2.5, but my sister lives in the UAE, so I don't get to see him that often. I was there for the birth. I was there for a good month. I've seen him loads, but obviously he's a baby and he doesn't remember me. I remember him. So I've been dying to get over there because I'm just I want him to know who I am.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then so my brother's girlfriend is having a baby, and I'm just this is weird thing of you just want to be there so they can see, and that they don't know anything about you.
Of course,
but you just want to look at them. You just want to be baby.
You want to be involved.
I know you, baby. You are part of this family.
I feel
there's a weird thing in you that's just
I'm not exactly the father. I'm just an uncle. What is that? But I feel like I've got to be responsible. Literally, the guy said, "Oh, mate, all you need to do is just come see him and make him laugh. That is literally the uncle's job." And I'm like, "Sound, right?"
You know what? I think
I can do that.
My uncle is my mum's younger brother. Mm-hmm. I'm not entirely sure. I should probably clarify that at some point.
Okay.
However, when you think about how young my mother was when I was born, that is crazy.
So do you want to hear something fucked up?
Okay.
So my family tree. I was born in England. I was born in London, but so my family are of Cypriot descent. My mum's mum, my grandma, was pregnant at the same time that my mum was pregnant with my oldest brother.
Wait, hang on. Wait. This is fucking with my head. Wait, can you just dial back?
So your grandmother and your mother were pregnant at the same time?
Yes.
Wait, that doesn't make sense because wouldn't your mum be in your grandma's womb?
No, not my grandmother with my mum. So my mum was the second youngest of 8, I think. 7, I think, maybe. 7 or 8. So she was second youngest. But at the time and my grandma had her first child at 16. So
okay, got you right. Okay, yeah.
When not my grandma and my mum, my aunt and my mum. So my mum's sister was 16 when she gave birth to her first child. At which point my mum was also pregnant with her first child, which was my brother.
Okay, got you.
And my grandma was also pregnant, I think. Yeah. So my grandma and my mum.
There's 3 people now.
Yeah. My grandma and my mum were pregnant at the same time. Okay. Is basically it. Because my grandma had her first child at 16, and then my mum had her first child.
So that means the niece/nephew and the uncle are the same age.
Yeah, I have uncles.
Ross.
Isn't it? So my family tree is really weird because like the discrepancy between who is older or younger than people is like messed up.
It's more like a family bush. It's not really a tree.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
like the branches are going. It's like
because it's like we have cousins who are older than us, so I have to call them like my uncle, or auntie or whatever, and then they have a child who is technically like my nephew, but yet they're still older than me, so I still have to call them like my uncle, kind of thing.
But they're your nephew.
Well, like I don't know like the lineage thing. However, all I know is like you basically anyone older than you is like an uncle or auntie, and anyone younger than you is like your cousin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So weird.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens when you like move outside of England.
Look, it's been an emotional weekend, right? My brain is literally going. You know that scene in The Hangover where the guy's got like equations and shit floating in front of his eyes, right? That's what I feel like now, and that's how I felt on Friday. So it was my mum's birthday meal that I went to, belated obviously because COVID, and we gave presents, and my sister was like, we've got one more present for you, right? And my mum's looking up and down like, I know there's something not right about you. Like, you're a healthy person and yet you've gained a bit of weight. I don't know what's going on here. Like, what are you saying? and like, you're going to be a grandma. And it was like, and then at this point, my head was like going into like, the cogs were turning, but nothing was processing, nothing was understanding. It's like I didn't have enough memory or something, not enough RAM. And I was like, does that mean I'm going to be an uncle? Nah, surely not. Is it? I don't know. Like, does it? And I'm like a full 10 minutes, I'm just like brain dead. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
Wow, she actually shut you up.
Yeah, literally.
It'd be like that. Like, that is...
It's...
Yeah.
Life recently has been so kind of the same day in, day out. And it's so weird having like something different. Like
it's such a lovely thing to come out of everything as well.
And my grandma, who has been obviously on her own for so long, like she was with us and she looked so happy. I can't tell you how like her face lit up. She was like, I'm actually getting the emotion.
Well, how old is your grandma now?
She's 87 this year.
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, she's gonna get great grandkids. Oh wow, she's so happy. Like, it's beautiful. Like,
yeah.
Well, congrats to you on obviously becoming an uncle and
to the misfortune of the nephews or nieces.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have the best job. You don't have to deal with the tantrums. You don't have to deal with like anything bad. You just have to be the fun uncle.
It's going to be expensive. I'm going to be spending money on so many sweets.
Oh god!
You will spend so much money. Oh my god! On my nephew. I literally am like, every time I see something, I'm like, oh, that's cute for a baby. I'm just like, oh, I'll buy it. I don't even have my own baby. Right. I wouldn't even do that for my own baby because I'd be like, you know, we have a budget. But yet when it's someone else, it's like when you buy gifts for anyone, you're like, for myself, I won't buy anything, but I will buy everyone else everything.
Yeah.
It's like that. You'll be like that with him. You'll be like...
I've already got 2037 in the calendar dated.
What's his 18th birthday?
No, 16th. Well, at age 16, you can go for a pint, right, with a meal.
Okay.
Yeah.
With an adult, yeah. Okay. Sorted, right?
We did
I've got that. That's fucking ages away, though.
Yeah, I know.
That's a long time, man.
We did that thing. So for I'm
gonna be like
40. Like first nephew kind of thing, baby in the family. I was in Lisbon at the time as well, so I bought a bottle of port from like this vineyard in Lisbon that we were like, this is specifically for him, that we will be like, oh, when he's 18 he can like crack it open kind of thing. No, that like you can get port that's like aged loads of years, way more than that, but this one was, I think it was already 10 years, and then we were like, well, it's for him and it's like customized, whatever. It's just nice. It's just one of those things.
Yeah, but the thing is, when you get to that point, you'll open it, like, yeah.
That's the thing, it's not for us, it's for, well, it is.
And then you'll look at how much it costs online and be like, should we have just got him the money?
I was like, well, you can either open this or you could sell it for your tuition for university.
Yeah, right, you could probably pay it off.
At that point, it'll be like $100,000 a year. Yeah.
You know, right? Yeah, it would be.
They don't even have like eyes or like proper human like features yet because they're literally just like 8 weeks old, right? They've got heartbeats, that's it. But I'm already thinking, right, I need to get some fucking child savings bond set up. I need to buy some alcohol.
No, you don't need to do
that.
that.
They can that is like
the alcohol, but not the child saving bond.
Well, no, but the alcohol, as you say, it needs to be like wine or whatever that is their year, and then when they're 18. It'll be like, oh, I've saved it. How special would that be to have like I've got this bottle for you.
Yeah, but
since the year you were born.
So my sister.
That's such a good idea.
Yeah, no, it's a really good idea. So my sister, who is the mother of my nephew, she they live in the UAE. They live in Abu Dhabi, which is it's not a dry country, but it's a country in which alcohol is not readily available to households. You basically either have to have a liquor license in your own household, or there are bars and venues, whatever.
Yeah, I was about to say it's a fucking desert. What do you mean it's not dry?
But it's like Saudi is a dry country.
Yeah.
Like Saudi Arabia is a dry. You can't, whatever. The AUE is not quite as, but so. Yeah, so growing up for him, and I don't know if they're going to move back or whatever, but growing up for him, he won't have, it's sort of like, for us, it was like, I had my first drink probably when I was about 12 or whatever, like I had a glass of wine or I had a beer or like something,
I remember hating the taste, being like, oh, what's this, I didn't like it.
I would be like, this is a thing I'll never drink.
Disgusting. But yeah.
Whereas like he won't have that because it just won't be like applicable. Like it's just not a thing. So yeah, so we've got all these like scotches and we've got this like I think my brother bought like a whiskey or like and I bought this and like port and he'll get to 18 and he'll be like, what the fuck is this shit? He'll hate it because he's just like never even had an experience. It's like I don't know about you, but like got to be weaned into it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, maybe 18's too. I don't know, but I just feel like I need to do something that I can set up now, ready for just something really thoughtful,
Oh yeah.
Like, and I want to be a good uncle. I want to obviously be like twins are probably a pretty big handful. Like it's 1 in 250th chance of it happening.
Same Z's or like
they're non-identical, but what's the thing? IDF or something? It's not that. Like it's literally just a freak. It's just a chance of nature.
Yeah.
Okay, where there were 2 eggs, not to get too graphic, right? And obviously, here we are. So they're not identical, but they're going to be very close. And of course, twins are born a bit earlier than a single child would be, right? And obviously, it's more risky and all that stuff. So, of course, but I kind of feel like I'm already thinking like in 10 years ahead. I want to have them over at my house. I want to do fun activities for them. I want to like take them to the park or like go bowling or whatever. I'm already thinking of all, and I want to make sure that I've got my life sorted out so that I can provide all that for them because it's extremely important. I want to be involved. I want to be there for them.
Absolutely. I remember when my sister.
I've never had this like need for responsibility in my life before.
Yeah,
and it's like,
and it does make your brain work because I remember when my sister had Christopher, and so I'm the godmother. And at the time, so my sister was like, we wanted it to be with, and it was someone who would be able, because that's the thing. It's like in the event of worst case scenario, you have to raise this child.
Of course,
and she was like, well, I must have been about 20. I don't know. I was.
Wait, is that what parents are?
Apparently, it's like the legal. Well, it's like that thing. It's not a legal obligation or anything. It's just like a religious obligation.
I've not seen my godmother for about 20 years. Like,
yeah, it's just a thing. It's like
that'd be a surprise if she had to like look after me or whatever. You're like, oh shit, I've not seen you for 20 years. All right, here we go. I guess this is happening now.
Maybe she should look after you now.
Yeah, she doesn't need to yet.
But like that's the thing. They were like, in case of an event, you have to look after this baby. And at first my sister was like, I don't know that. She was like, I'm not sure. And then I was like, but by the time, and this was my argument before, it was like, by the time something happens to this baby, I will have figured my shit out.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm hoping as well.
Yeah, so they were like, so she was like, yeah, okay. I was like, yeah, at the moment, I was like, it's not good. But yeah, if anything does happen,
to be fair, I don't think you ever figure your shit out. You just end up like, oh, okay, right, we're doing this.
Yeah.
You know?
You just kind of accept what's happening and make the best of it.
Yeah. But I'm going to be that, like, I don't know if I want to be, not an annoying uncle. I want to be an uncle that can, kids, let's go to Disneyland for the fucking weekend or whatever,
yeah,
you know.
you're going to be the fun uncle.
Yeah.
What you don't want is like...
Repeat that for me.
I want to go to Disneyland for the weekend.
Why?
It's only Paris, it's alright. Go on a bank holiday.
Oh, Florida. Yeah, no.
That'd be mental. I said Disneyland, not Disney fucking World Resort.
Oh.
I wish I had fucking uncles like that.
Yeah, well, same. That's why I'm doing it. You live your dreams through your kids, or in my case,
you
someone
live
else's
vicariously, right? You're
Literally
like, I
going
never did this
to your sister.
Years.
I want the kids on this bank holiday.
Yeah.
And I'm going to take them to fucking Disneyland.
It's like, they're not my kids. I've not had to deal with any of the shit. I've not had to raise them. But fuck you, they're mine now. We're gonna have a great time, and they're gonna come home to you, and they're gonna complain that they didn't get to go to Disneyland with you because but Uncle Marcus takes us to Disneyland. He gives us sweets just to make your life more difficult. And it's great. I love it.
I'll tell you what. In about 5 years, you are not going to be friends with Dom.
Well, no, I don't. Obviously, I don't want that. I just want to be an uncle that they love and that they have fun spending time with. That's the most important thing. I would not entertain going to Disneyland. Obviously, at the moment, I just couldn't give a shit. But if there's kids, then that's a magical thing, you know. I don't know. I don't know, man. I kind of feel like, I'm only the uncle, but it feels like there's change coming. Like, you know, the world's opening up.
I feel like you are going to be the opposite of that cool wine aunt. I don't know what that is, but you would be the opposite.
And I can't wait.
Am I going to be the Uncle Knobhead? I hope not. You know, I don't know if you know like Peter Kay,
I'm gonna
Uncle
be
Knobhead.
that like aunt, and I say I really am. I'm not, because my nephews won't do that, but I 100% will be that aunt where like my nephews or nieces will be like, Mum won't let me smoke weed, and I'll just be like, as long as you do it in the house, it's fine, you know.
What an example! Not smoking in general. Smoking weed.
But like, you know, it's not that. Well, it's not that bad. It should be legalized. Is the stance I will take. However,
the views and opinions expressed in this podcast are not representative of the views of TGT, but of the individuals speaking. But no, I agree. I did the same thing.
We're 3 for 3 on that one. We can say this is the view of TGT. Yeah, legalize weed.
Yeah. Well, no, because it's so like if it's still. I mean, Amsterdam do it right. California doing it right.
Yeah,
you know, and I've seen the gentleman. Like,
it's a problem of politics. It's not a problem of population or of
course.
You know,
obviously, don't become a stoner. Like, you need to like do
absolutely.
shit. You know, and
obviously, if you're not smoking it, it smells like absolute shite.
Oh god, it actually, yeah. Like, well, even if you do, like, it just sticks to everything.
Yeah,
you know. But I mean, but at least like compared to drinking, it is like healthier. If you want to be healthy, there are better things you can do.
So, I digress. No, it depends how you're intaking this substance. Because smoke inhalation is far worse than alcohol inhibition. No, not inhibition.
I don't boil my alcohol and breathe it in. Like.
So no, but the difference is that if you're going to smoke something that is going to be worse for you long term than you drinking something, because your liver will regenerate, but your lungs will not.
Yeah.
So
that's true. That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Yeah. No, unless you're drinking daily on the regs for like however many years, your liver will be fine. Don't stress. That's not like, you know, I'm not telling you,
we're not condoning
like
binge
nothing,
drinking,
but like. Yeah. You know, you will be okay. Whereas like smoking is not good whether you do it once or 10 times. So no.
How do you feel about like, I don't know, like the dual pods and all the vaping and all that shit?
I think it's dumb as fuck.
Really?
Think it's dumb as fuck. Yeah. So they've done studies recently that show that it's not necessarily the same type of damage that smoking inhalation does to your lungs. However, it still does damage to your lungs because it's, and correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm sure people will correct me because that's what.
Well, they can't because it's a podcast, not a phone call. They can't speak to you, so fucking like you can say what you want.
Find us in the comments.
But however, with the dual kind of things, what I get from it, and I've not done much research, is the fact that it's supposed to be, it's a nicotine. They still have nicotine in them. However, it's like a flavored nicotine. So it's water vapor plus nicotine, which the side effects of have not been discussed.
We've not had enough time yet, have we?
Well, that's one of the things. But then there have been cases of people who their dual like pod things, I don't know what they call it, dual pods. And,
pods,
things have like exploded. There's also things about how the fact that the water vapor, because it's not just people go, oh, it's water vapor, so it won't damage my lungs. However, it's not necessarily that; it's the heat at which it does it. I think so.
Well, clearly, the healthiest thing is to just it's not natural, is it? So
So, but there's a school of thought that was like, well, I am a smoker, but vaping is healthier than smoking. So if I vape but not smoke, then that's the same.
Yeah, but isn't the whole point to try and wean yourself off the whole thing entirely?
Yeah.
Like I had a friend of mine who he quit smoking a couple of years ago, but he was on the dual pods, but he had 2 like dual vaping things, and like he's just constantly got one in his mouth all the time.
Yeah.
Like he feels like he's a slave to it, and he's actually since this new year, 2021, he's actually not been vaping at all, which is amazing. He has been chewing nicotine gum, though I haven't seen him doing that, but he feels like the problem is he's always got to have it in his mouth, and he just feels like he's a slave to it, and it annoys him because he enjoys it's like he has to have it on him all the time.
I've had like 2 different lines, so it's like people who vape at the absence of smoking because they can't smoke right now, so they'll vape instead. And the flip side is people, when vaping became a thing, they would vape and then move up to smoking and completely broke what vaping was meant to be. It was meant to be a way to wean yourself off. Mm-hmm. I feel like I see that more than anything is people vaping.
I think people thought that sort of vaping was a alternative to smoking that was equally as cool in brackets.
Yeah.
But less harmful. However, in recent years, days, months, whatever, it's shown to be equally as, well, maybe not equally as harmful, but it is harmful. And I mean, it's never been cool, so I don't know who thought about that.
It's weird because wouldn't you agree that it's the school playground where most people picked up smoking?
Yes.
Right? I never got exposed to that. When I was in uni, I was in parties and stuff where it was a case of, oh, do you want some of this? And I'm just like, nah, I'm alright, mate. It's cool.
See, I got that.
It's very easy. It's been very easy in my upbringing and my life to like just not become a smoker. So I don't really get how people have. But I mean, everyone's different.
I had the same thing in high school.
Do your parents, mate?
Oh, there you go. No, they don't.
Yeah, I think that is a massive contributor.
Yeah, that's true. Actually,
I grew up in a household with no smoke. People I went to school with started smoking in like year 7, year 8, but I just didn't because I just didn't grow. And for me, it wasn't just like a normal thing to do.
It wasn't part of your life, I suppose. Yeah, fair enough.
No, it was the same. It was like there was people in high school who smoked, but it was just something that I never got into.
Yeah. Makes sense, yeah. I mean, like, can't argue with it. But yeah, I suppose like for us, there's not been that influence. It's not been normalised. So obviously,
I feel like we were growing up in a good point where smoking was being seen as a bad thing.
Yeah, it was around that time. So for us, like our school, our high school term was like 2007 to like 2012. Like that kind of era, right? So that was around the time where pubs were banning smoking.
Yeah,
like
I remember,
well, the government indoor smoking was illegal around that time. So
I distinctly remember. I think there was like a law where if people resided in a property, you could smoke in there. Pubs and bars would take advantage of that by just having a bed upstairs and saying, "I live here."
Isn't it gross? Because so we have all grown up in a world where you can't smoke indoors, right? However, we have also all been to Central Europe, in which people
where it's okay.
can. So I remember going to like Czechia, and I was in a club in Prague, and we were like, it just fucking stinks, Like, oh, you go like wherever it is in Central Europe, because that is genuine. Like, it's not banned. It's not whatever. It
makes it worse for us because we notice it more, right? Because we're not. Used to
but it's not necessarily the fact that you just know it's bad. It's the fact that you kind of go in and you're like, oh, is this what it was? I don't know. Like, is this what it was like? Or like, it's like, oh, is this normal? Like, people just smoke, and people do just.
That'd be interesting. I might look that up, like where it's illegal to smoke indoors and where it's not. It sounds like it's
Europe.
It's very it's very common everywhere else to smoke indoors, but for us especially, it's frowned upon.
The rationale is like, well, if you're gonna smoke, you're gonna smoke.
Yeah.
Like
even my grandma, she's been smoking all her life. My mum smoked for a lot of it. Obviously, they would smoke inside because it was a normal thing to do. Yet now, because they've realised that smoking indoor is now seen as a bad thing to do. It's not good. If anyone goes over to my grandma's, she will start smoking outside. My mum, when she was still smoking, she would start going outside as well. And she'd just open the patio door and smoke instead of doing it in the house. And it's become such a, I guess...
Well, it's just learned behaviour. It's just that's normal. That's what they do.
Yeah.
It's become such a thing where it's like you have to... Even my granddad, even before all this came out, he would smoke at the back door. My nan never smoked, but he would always go to the back door. And the only time that changed is when he quit smoking.
Is it... Okay, so in this flat where we live, we've got vents in the ceiling that we can open up, right? So if we smoked in this flat, would the smoke travel to other flats?
Well, this is the thing.
Which is obviously a problem.
Because the air from the vents blows in, it doesn't blow out.
Okay.
What it would do is it would stick on your walls, it would stick on your ceiling.
It would discolour the walls as well.
That's true, yeah.
Have you seen the difference between a discoloured flat and freshly painted?
No.
Yeah.
Really? Is it really bad?
Like fully... So, because that's the thing. On your own, you don't realise the difference because it's the same with like when people gain or lose weight or whatever. You don't realise it because you see it so subtly. However, like literally, there is such a massive difference when a smoker has lived in a flat, or it doesn't matter. You don't even have to be a smoker because just over time it happens. Yeah. But then you wipe the walls down and you kind of go, "Fuck!" Like the walls were white and now they're yellow. Yeah. There is a massive difference.
Like at some point, you have to just paint over it.
Yeah.
Like, you're not scrubbing it.
You're going yellow walls anyway. It saves you a job, I suppose. But I mean, if you want to go from yellow to white, then I guess it's an issue.
It's not a pretty yellow.
No,
it is not a pretty yellow at all.
It's like yellow.
That's not great.
It's not. Oh, now you've said that, it's reminded me of the spot thing.
Sorry.
Oh,
well, I mean, look, I get the spot thing. That's fine. Okay, I'm not gonna start watching videos of people. This is not great.
Whatever makes you happy.
And not that.
Well, to be honest, I don't know what the whole ASMR thing. Just to circle back to that, like, it's kind of it's weird. Like, you don't talk about it. Like, I don't know anyone else who, but it's funny because it's like a close knit community of people. There are memes and there are jokes in the comments of these YouTube videos. Like, that only people who watch these kind of videos understand, and it's
as with any sort of sub community.
I suppose, but it's like I don't know. It's weird because it's not as if I'm on like a subreddit. I'm just on the public.
What you're saying is you're in on the sub ASMR.
I'm just looking at YouTube comments that are public and anyone can go on them, but it's the kind of content that only a certain kind of person looks at, so only a certain kind of comment is made, and it's fucking funny if you get it. Like, there's a video from TM Lewin, and it's about this guy getting a suit fitted, right? And he's an actor for the video, and it's about how to measure your suit and so on. So he walks into the store, and he's like, "Hello, I'm looking for a navy suit for work." But he says it in such a way it sounds like he's looking for a navy suit for war. So everyone's in the comments like, "Oh, imagine if there was a war like where it's just people in navy suits, it would be sick." And then there's other videos where it's this guy talking about ancient like weaponry used in like the 1500s and stuff, and then someone comments like, "Oh, I wonder if they're all in navy suits." Like, completely unrelated video, but everyone in the comments just gets it, and like, it feels weird being part of that like understanding. I don't know. I just think that's kind of cool, but I'm not gonna start joining like a subreddit about it because I'm not that like. I appreciate it.
Or navy suits.
You know what? I reckon that's a real subreddit. We'll look it up afterwards and we'll have a see.
Anyway, I'm going to end it now. I'm going to say.
Yeah, I am dying for a piss. I will be honest.
That makes two of us.
Yeah.
That makes three of us.
We've been going for nearly 2 hours now.
Well, I've been checking the timer, and I would have said something, but I've been enjoying the conversation.
Yeah, like I got to 90 minutes. Like I need to think about finding a good point to end.
Well, that's why I mentioned the whole twin thing, because I thought that's a lovely thing to end. But the problem with that is it sparks a massive conversation.
I
so
know
it's
at the start we were like, oh, I don't really know, but I genuinely did this week. I had like a set of things that I was like, I'm ready to talk about this.
None
of those have been covered. So.
You can bring them in next week. Well, we do that all the time.
Like mood board, 0 items, podcast, 2 hours. What?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well. Thank you for listening. This has been Two Guys Talking plus Steph, episode 10.
And she'll be back next week.
Yeah, and we hope we'll actually stick to the pre-planned, points to talk about. But I mean, to be fair, like
it always goes like this.
It always
we have a guide and we never stick to it.
A mate of ours said, "Oh, why don't you talk about this?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, sure, we'll do that." We just didn't talk about it.
Yeah,
and I hope he wasn't pissed off. But it wasn't a personal thing. We just didn't get around to it.
Anyway. Thank you for listening and see you next week.
See you next week.